I think the first one, and I cover this in the last chapter of the book that's really important, is that a lot of people look at, say, activists or journalists like yourself and think, I got to be doing that or I'm not changing the world. But one of the number one things we need to recognize is that the culture that we refer to, the mainstream culture, is essentially dead, and it's rotting and it's infecting everybody else. And we're not going to retake that culture. What we need to do is preserve the culture that mainstream culture replaced. That is what we need to preserve, like the monks did in Skellig Michael. We need to create these communities that function as arcs where we take responsibility for our kids' education, whether that's homeschooling, classical schooling, a private Christian school that's not part of the state system. We can't send our kids off to the pagans to teach all week and then expect them to come home as Christians. It's not realistic in today's day and age, and it's also dangerous considering the gender ideology in schools. And we need to recognize that communities need to be physical. That we need to have communities where we're covering education, where places where Christians can get together, that they can actually speak with each other, have community together, have community events together, where they can band together and ensure the protection of the elderly and the vulnerable. And our euthanasia regime in Canada may be coming to other countries as well. There's a series of things that we need to do. And I think that giving up on taking back the mainstream culture is one of those things. So that's one of the things that I'll say about Daily Wire. They'll often say, we're going to take back the culture. And I'm like, well, the culture is dead. If you're talking about, recovering the previous culture, now I'm listening. Like Anthony Esselin said, the classics are the great unused artillery of the culture wars. We don't have to recreate a culture. We can just go back and pick up the one that we abandoned and work from there. To give a little bit of a glimmer of hope, which we're seeing so many interesting things going on in this liquid modernity period that we're in, is we talked about how the ideas of people like Magnus Hirschfeld, who first put forward the idea that gender needed to break out of the binary, and everybody thought he was insane for like 80 years, and now, lo and behold, your kids are learning Magnus Hirschfeld at school 100 years after he's been dead. We're seeing all of these questions being asked by people who were once part of the new atheist movement that kind of shaped my university experience, because they're recognizing that the branch they've been sawing off so vigorously for so long is starting to crack, and they don't like what the alternative looks like. So you got Richard Dawkins trying to pretend he's a cultural Christian, right? Which, if things weren't so bad, I'd get Schadenfreude. I don't have it because things are really bad. But when Dawkins is noticing it, okay, things are not going well. I interviewed Neil Ferguson, one of the world's most renowned historians, and he said, I struggle. I got brought up in an atheist home. I struggle to accept Christian premises, but people need to go back to church. We need to reacquaint ourselves with these value systems. It's the foundation of society. His wife, Ayan Hirsi Ali, recently announced that she's becoming a Christian again. She hasn't even picked her denomination. She's still figuring it out, but she says, I believe in the crucifixion, the resurrection, substitutionary atonement. You've got Charles Murray, who was sort of crucified for his book, The Bell Curve. He's one of the scientists who got ostracized from the academy. He's an agnostic, but he says, short of a religious revival, America won't survive. Douglas Murray is now calling himself a Christian atheist. So the way I put it in the book is we're at this period now where there is now a lot of intellectuals who hated Christianity 5 minutes ago and were very vocal about it, who are willing to say, we need Christianity. And I wonder how far we are from some of them like Ayan Hirsi Ali saying, actually, we need Christ. Because they're recognizing that this was the social glue that held it all together. And they're recognizing that if I've got to pick between Magnus Hirschfeld and Augustine, maybe Augustine's the better way to go. So we don't know. They're planting seeds now. We are in a time of fascinating discussions, right? Jordan Peterson, we who wrestle with God. I wish he'd stop wrestling. Because when you stop fighting is actually when you discover the truth. But we'll see. There's a lot of interesting signs of growth, and rotting empires make good fertilizer for a revival in the long term.
Hi everyone, this is John Henry Weston for LifeSite News. We hope you found this video insightful. For more content like this, be sure to check out the links in the description below. You can also follow us on social media to stay updated on the latest news concerning life, faith, family, and freedom. Thanks for watching, and may God bless you.